Well, Dothan has its new school superintendent.
Moments ago, the school board made its selection. News 4's Jacqueline Lambert is live at the school board meeting now. So Jacqueline, who's the pick?
The pick is in it. It is Dr. Garrick Askew. He is the assistant superintendent of Clark County Schools in Clark County, Georgia. Askew has been in that job for a little over 2 years, a University of Georgia alum. He previously worked in Paulding County, Georgia. In Dothan, Askew takes over a school system with 9,000 students. His biggest challenge could be a divided school board. That divide was evident tonight in making just moments before the pick as a spirited discussion ensued. Some members insisted a new superintendent not be hired until after municipal elections when 3 of the 7 members leave the board. However, a majority wanted to move forward, which they did tonight in selecting Dr. Askew. Live from Dothan City Schools, Jacqueline Lambert, your hometown news leader.
Jacqueline Lambert, thank you for that report. The deal will need to be finalized, so we don't have a start date for Dr. Askew, who replaces Dr. Dennis Coe, who returned on June 30th.